Okay, so we're on Thomas Drive, down towards the end of the property, and this is the first option to get in. You can see there's two gates right next to each other. They're both entering the property. The first one is a bit wider than the second, and both roads from these gates kind of merge after you enter. So you can see here, it has a concrete pad over a culvert, and I think the width is about 24 feet or so. And then the second option is to come in this way. It's a bit narrower at the mouth. There's a mailbox, and then we have a gate here with a fence that narrows down in width after you turn in, so these will probably have to be removed. So after you make the turn here, you can see there's two roads running parallel. The one down to the left would get us in through the gate before the one we just entered. Pretty smooth and good width here. It narrows down a little bit between this tree, but it should have at least 10 or 12 feet there. Got a power pole on the left here. Comes down a little bit, go over a little concrete pad there. This is our first kind of difficult turn here. It's pretty tight left-hand turn. There is room to swing right out to the right here, but you can see we have the vines to the left, and I think there's about 25 feet between the vines and the brush on the right. And then it straightens out. You go down between the vines here. Plenty of width here. And then up here ahead we have a really tight right hand turn. There's some room out here to swing for this left curve, but after you make the left curve you have to make a really hard right at this red shack here. And you'll see there's a big rock on the right and a pole here on the left. And then after you make the turn, there's this really narrow spot with there's kind of a retaining wall on the right and then a drainage pipe on the left, and there's only about 11 feet between these guys here. Then it widens out again, and you come up around to the left. You can see this kind of gets slanted to the right a bit, so it's not very even there. And then up here at this intersection we're going to make a left-hand turn. You can see there's a tree on the left here, and then there's a culvert along the right-hand side of the road, so there's not too much room to swing wide there. Then after the turn we head up a really steep hill. You can see it gets a little narrow between this tree, and then there's a culvert running along the left side of the road. And then this is where it gets really steep and a bit rough. My car is losing a little bit of traction there, so it's pretty steep. And then up towards the top you curve around to the left here. There's an existing barn building here off to the left. Our site is down here to the right. You can see there's a tree off to the right here, and then a berm off to the left, and there's about 20 feet between these two. So we come up and over the ridge here, and then we need to make a sharp left to get to the access road to the site. And then you can see it gets really narrow here. On the left hand side you have a berm, and on the right it drops very steeply off to the right, and there's about 14 feet of clearance between the berm on the left and where things drop off to the right. So as you head up this road, the site is, proposed building site is this pad, this opening here, and it's about 93 feet wide and 165 feet from where I am to the trees on the other side. It's a nice flat lot, amazing views, and I imagine the crane would be sitting right about where I am, and the trucks would have to come in behind where I am, and then the house would be somewhere around here.